Y'all, you can't make this up. You just simply can't. We now have the chief legal officer, the chief, the head of police, the big top guy in Oregon, crying on a camera because he's admitting that the people of which they couched as a married couple who tried to kill ICE agents with their car are actually, in fact, related and affiliated with Tren de Agua, a Venezuelan gang that came across illegally. Guys, the point at which the Democrats are just out openly supporting and throwing their weight behind active gang members is wild to me. Especially when you look at all the things that they are openly well aware that they've done. So much for the whole feminism thing. All right, let's get into this whole shenanigan. This is, of course, the stream before the video before the live stream tonight, 9 p.m. Eastern time. Make sure you are there because I have a funny feeling we're going to need some marshmallows to watch all the city buildings burn in Minneapolis. All right, we're going to cover all of it for you right then. A lot of other stuff is coming as well. Hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, turn the notification bell on. Here we go. So this is something that happened in Colorado, and I'm going to set the table for you to give you an idea of what this guy, who is the lead law enforcement officer in Oregon, is actually crying about. This is what he's crying about. This is the gang Tren de Agua. This is what they just arrested a guy in Colorado who was a member of Tren de Agua who did this exact thing you're about to see, and this is what these pansies are crying about.
The man arrested in Colorado Springs following a police chase through a neighborhood in the city this week is an alleged member of Venezuelan prison gang Tren de Aragua. This is video from law enforcement taking Yorvis Carrascal Campo into custody in the area of Little Overlook Street just off South Union Boulevard on Wednesday. He and 10 other TDA members are accused of killing a man they allegedly tortured before shoving him in a suitcase and burying him in the New Mexico desert. The Venezuelan national is also accused of sex and drug trafficking, several kidnappings, and being in the U.S. illegally. Carrascal Campo faces up to life in prison. The man arrested in
Drug trafficking, human trafficking, torturing a man along with 10 other Tren de Agua members, killing him, stuffing him in a suitcase, and leaving him in the desert. Okay, so we've established as a baseline, this is not exactly what you would call an upstanding citizen group of people, right? We've nailed that one firmly in the category of check. Okay. Let me show you what the lead officer in Oregon is saying about Tren de Agua. He is actively crying in front of a microphone because his liberal ideals are so powerful that he just can't come to admit that maybe occasionally gang members who have very bad tendencies connected with prostitution rings and with murder and with shootings might be a good idea to remove from the community. I don't know. I must be on crazy pills. All right, watch. Get the tears and tissues because this is the lead law enforcement officer. This is so pathetic.
And I don't have details. And what I can say is there is an association with the two folks yesterday and TDA. I hesitated to even share this information initially because I'm very aware of the historic injustice of victim blaming, oftentimes portrayed by law enforcement, including this very agency that I've represented so proudly for so many years. And historically, we have not been quick to disclose the potential criminal history of others. But I felt it was imperative because I was asked yesterday in the news conference what information we have. This is information we have. This in no way draws a through line to the actions or the behaviors that occurred yesterday. I want to speak for just a moment specifically to my Latino community. It saddens me that we even have to qualify these remarks.
Okay, I'm going to pause it for a second. I'm sorry. I don't want my warriors, this isn't a warrior, I'm giving an example. I don't want the warriors of this nation in the military to be so concerned that they're holding up pronoun flags. I don't want them to be so in touch with their feelings that they are crying when they just happen to say that someone in a Latin Hispanic background or demographic is connected to Tren de Agua. I don't give a flying rip about any of that crap and the feelings and the emotions. If you are actively this bad in the community, you need to be removed from the community. You don't need to do a qualifier. It's not a reflection upon every other person in a select demographic or community. You don't need to cry about it. You don't need to have a freaking struggle session about it. The DHS, the Department of Homeland Security, openly said in the first opening salvo of information on this shooting in Portland that these people were connected with prostitution rings, prior shootings, and they were in the country illegally, and they tried to run over officers of the Border Patrol with their vehicles. Open and full information. I covered it before their press conference. But now he's saddened and he's emotional because he has to qualify it. The only reason he has to qualify it is because the liberalism that demands you qualify every single freaking thing because you won't want to offend anybody by saying that these two individuals were part of Tren de Agua. Like, oh my God, this guy is supposed to be the leader of all police. You feel safe with this kind of warrior at the helm? This is the whole point, guys. Democrats and liberals and progressives exude weakness. They ooze it from every fiber of their being. You can't even have a conversation to admit that somehow, some way, it's a good thing that two violent gang members who were prosecuting crimes against women and trafficking women is a bad thing without having to have a little cry session about how offended you are that they would reflect on a different community? Grow a freaking pair. This is the problem. This is the reason there's such an aversion from anything and everything Democrat broadly. Because this is pathetic. All right, let's keep on going.
Because I understand, or at least have attempted to understand through your voices, your concern, your fear, your anger. This information in no way is meant to disparage or to condone or support or agree with any of the actions that occurred yesterday. But it is important that we stay committed to the rule of law, that we stay committed to the facts, that we stay a trustworthy and legitimate police department for all of Portlanders. And
well, that just went out the frickin' window. Sorry, y'all, like this is what they're shoving down our throats as true and factual. They lie to you with impunity until they openly say that by a reporter's question of is there a connection with Tren de Agua, they say, yeah, we didn't tell you because we didn't want to hurt anyone's feelings in the Latin or Hispanic community. Y'all, it's asinine. This is yesterday. This is the governor of Oregon. Okay? Listen, this is Tina Kotek.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Thank you, Chief Day. Good evening, Oregonians. We are standing here today united as a state, wanting peace and safety in our communities. We are all shaken and outraged by another terrible, unnecessary, violent event instigated by the reckless agenda of the Trump administration.
That's the governor of Oregon. So you want to tell me that 24 hours later, they come out and say, yeah, they were connected to Tren de Agua, a violent gang out of Venezuela, and yes, they were here illegally, and yes, they were trafficking women, and yes, they were involved in prostitution rings, and yes, they were involved in prior shootings, but it's the Trump administration that is just so riddled with conflict and so aggressive. They are bringing all of this. You sure it's not the people who are covering up all of the, like, you're setting the table for all of these things to run around with impunity, and then you want to blame somebody who's going to come in and try to arrest that person, all the while you knew the entire time, you just didn't want to say it because you didn't want to offend anybody? But damn, it made a good headline against ICE, didn't it? These people are disgusting. All right, and here's the two individuals right there, on the right and on the left, both involved in prostitution rings and gang member activity. So you tell me why you're going to cry about the fact that you have to actually say they're connected with Tren de Agua because, oh my God, the Trump administration didn't lie. You guys just covered it up. Make up some random crap about ICE and the Trump administration being aggressive. Meanwhile, the rest of the nation in Colorado, you've got Tren de Agua literally torturing, murdering, stuffing them in suitcases, and then dumping them in the desert, along with drug trafficking, human trafficking, and illegal activity, and being in the country illegally. I'm just going to line up and wait for you to just stop talking, because it's completely and totally ridiculous. Anyway, that's what I've got for you for the pre-live show. All right, I'm going to see you tonight at live stream, 9 p.m. Eastern Time. I'm Braden. See you later.